A very good morning to you. Welcome to the AFL Sydney Grand Finals. It's the big day. 3 Grand Finals coming up here at Blacktown International Sports Park. And the first one we're kicking off with is the Division 2 Grand Final. It's the North Shore Bombers taking on the Western Suburbs Magpies. 17-1 the Bombers, the all-conquering team in this Division 2 for 2017. And things just getting a little bit heated early. The Magpies, 11-7 on the season, have come from 4th to play on the big stage here at AFL Sydney level. This first quarter will be very intriguing. Can the Magpies put some scoreboard pressure on and make the front runners do a little bit of chasing? Murray Canallan in commentary with you this morning. And as I said, we'll have the big grand finals, Division 1 and the Premier Division game. You can see the logos painted on the field. Pennant Hills taking on Sydney Uni. And you can see it all live on aflsydney.tv/live. Use all the social handles of Sydney AFL. Let us know your thoughts and where you're watching from. And these Magpies are going in rough and tumble at the pill early. Look at that, 3 players down for North Shore. Is this a sign of things to come as the Magpies go inside 50, deep inside 50 for the first time this morning? Numbers to the ball as they back out of the pack. First shot on goal for the Magpies, and it's good. Jim Newbury. They've brought a good crowd with them this morning, the Magpies. And they get the first goal on the board. 1 straight goal, 6. Leads North Shore yet to score, and we're 2 minutes into this Div 2 Grand Final. Back underway in the Division 2 Grand Final. Gavin Bertram, Jordan Glover and Brad Stewart are our officiating umpires. Boundary of Ben Russell, Matt Frange and Taylor Cook and Indiana Forest keeping score in the goal. So what can North Shore deliver here? They've let the first goal go in. Tim Weston sends North Shore inside 50. We've got a free, and it's going the way of the Bombers. A little bit going on there, and we'll get a 50 as well. Oh, that was a punch. Here comes the emergency umpire, and that'll be Patrick Day. A little bit going on there. Ill-disciplined to give away. You don't want to get a card here. That's the issue. You don't want to be spending 15 minutes. So the goal kicked. The umpires let that one go, and will we just see any other little spot fires launch in the forward 50 for North Shore? North Shore wearing the black armbands out of respect of the coach's grandmother, who unfortunately passed away during the week, so they'll be looking for a big victory this morning. So a goal apiece 4 minutes into the first quarter, and you can see a few players slip over in that centre square area. It has had a bit of water on it. It's much less firm than it was last week for our first lot of grand finals. So teams will just have to play that centre square area a little bit differently. So neither side can win clear possession straight away. Jordan Eno got his hand to it, but his short little hand pass immediately enveloped by a North Shore player. So sides met twice during the seasons, round 19 and 17, and they were convincing victories to the Bombers. In fact, in round 17, the Magpies only kicked the 1 goal. So already they've beaten that tally. And here's an opportunity for Lockie Pryor. Couldn't get his hands to it quickly enough, and the umpire will say, thanks very much, I'll have it. North Shore, long kick to the top of the goal square. Good punch coming from behind by the Magpies defenders. That's Brad Plug with the snap-on goal. Didn't have enough on it. With the subsequent punch over the boundary line, it'll just be around 15 metres from the point post. So both sides working the interchanges. They all have had their structures and time rotations set out well in advance of today. There's a good tackle from the side. Rolled him as well. Didn't get the free. Plug wanted to go in again and get it. But it's the Magpies who pop it out of there by Jackson Hand. His long kick to centre wing was a good mark there by Charlie Parsons. Right on single wing, just turns it around to Cam Holmes, who gets his kick off, but no one there for the Bombers, and it's the Magpies who can rebound out of their defensive 50. Had a couple of numbers there, but the bounce of the ball just didn't go their way. Sharp hand pass, couldn't be held onto. The centre square, and the umpire says, I'll have it. Joshua David Wright, the leading goal scorer in this division for the Bombers. 27 goals. So he'll be a focal point for the Bombers up front. And for the Magpies, it's Daniel Egan. He's kicked 34 goals this season, and there's a good mark. Christian Specchia. They say he's a classy finisher, and this goal, he's gone on the very long run-up, but just a slight angle. Beautiful conditions for footy this afternoon. This to get the Bombers back out to a 6-point lead, straight off the woodwork. So it's the Bombers just going to go straight down the hey diddle diddle, but it's going to come back with a bit of interest here for the Magpies. They've got a couple of players around the ball if they can get a pass to. Nice shot there. Well, that was Sherwood, sorry. He just wanted to set it up to the top of the square. Unfortunately, Clint McGrath couldn't get hands to it. Calls of deliberate, but that'll be thrown in by the boundary umpire. Just between the forward pocket and half-forward flank for the Magpies. Ball back into play at the paint of the arc. It's the Bombers who can try and push things to centre wing. Mark taken on that far side of Blacktown International Sports Park. The umpire says, I'll have it, thanks. So 1-1-7 the Magpies. One straight kick for North Shore. We're 8 3/4 minutes through this first term. It's the Magpies who were massive outsiders. Would have been long odds-on favourites, North Shore, and so far they trail by solitary behind, but they've forced the Bombers into errors, and there's another one. So inside 50 again. Mark couldn't be taken, but it's punched out in front of a Magpies player. The flying shot on goal out on the full. So Specchia looks like he's playing deep forward for the Magpies. Haven't seen much of Daniel Egan yet. So, middle of 50. Who's going to win this contest? North Shore running hard onto it. That was courageous stuff with a couple of Magpies flying around out in front of Vajarendi for the Bombers, but it's back inside 50 once again. If we were counting inside 50s, it would be lopsided to say the least in the favour of the Bombers. Ball back into play and just a big punch forward from the Bombers' rucks. But once again, they just can't clear half back at the moment in the way of Specchio, and he's going to... No, he's not going to... Thought he was just going to try and punch it out there, but that was a sharp mark by the Bombers' back six. They're holding up stoutly at the moment, and that kick not good at all. Another unforced error. And can the Magpies make them pay? Justin O'Neill. When you get the notes and it says, widely considered to be the funniest man in Sydney football, don't know whether to take it or seriously not, but that's no laughing matter as he pushes it just to the left-hand side. Justin O'Neill, bit of a swing man for the Magpies, can go from the back half. Can also play up front. So, Eamon Doherty, the coach for the Magpies, would have to be somewhat pleased with his charges. They're just 1 point off their total score in round 17 when the Bombers did them by 140-odd points. 24-11, 155 defeated the Magpies. 1 goal, 3-9 on that occasion. 6 goals in the first quarter, 5, 7 and 6. So it was an absolute thrashing, but when it matters on the big day, it's the Magpies who have the lead. One goal, 2. Plays one straight in the hands of Marlon Marquez. He just chips it up to Ziggy Migendorf. Won't find many better names than Ziggy Migendorf today. So now they're just getting a bit of flow here. They just chip it up. That's Kirk Lower. He just goes left foot short, stabbing pass back to Marlon Marquez. It's also could be a leader in the name. He finds Jared Waters. That's a really sharp kick inside the centre square to Parsons, and he'll turn and find Vajavandi. His kick inside 50, fielded on the half volley, nearly stripped of his Guernsey. The Magpies, faithful, they wanted a free for that in the hands of Pryor. They just keep batting things along. Shot on goal is good. Brad Plug slots it from 45. North Shore get the lead back. So it's the Magpies. They go inside 50 once again, but is this going to be the 10 minutes of the game where the Bombers really impose themselves? Angus Quayle hits it up to the paint of 50. Couldn't hang on to it. Hurrell. The Magpies force the turnover and they're back 50. They can just find a target on the edge of the centre square, and hard was Caddy. Magpies thought that was a little high, and then the Bombers player dumped after he kicked it too, so a little bit going on off the ball. That was nice work from Jared Polly, who had a little bit of time. Now, the Magpies can go to centre wing. Through Canaan. Nice little underground hand pass there from the Bombers. They just see it go across the boundary line. So a really good 15 minutes of this first quarter. North Shore 2 straight 12. Western Suburbs Magpies 1 goal 2-8. Good crowd in attendance for this Div 2 Grand Final, and we'll have more and more people come through the gates as the afternoon goes on. Div 1 and Premier Division all coming up on the live stream. The kick from Jason Harry turned over in the back half. He wasn't happy with himself, Jason, there, but it was a nice long spearing kick who just couldn't find a forward to get on the end of it. And it's now the Magpies. Hamish Sherwood out at centre wing. Needs to find a target back inside. But it's turned over. North Shore, can they make them pay here? Plug's already kicked one. Turns onto the right from the pocket. That is an unbelievable goal. Well, we're going to get a discussion here, but Plug slotted this from the boundary line. I reckon it sat 1 metre outside the line. That is an absolute beauty. Brad Plug's got 2. The third for North Shore, and their lead at now 10. Back underway, although we get another stoppage immediately. Div 2 leading goal kicker this year, Mitchell Stevens. And the Sanders medal for best and fairest during the season going to Andrew Urell at the Phelan Moisted Award night on Monday night. The kick turned over at centre wing on the logos. Ryan Hinson for the Magpies just has to get his hands over to hand. But another turnover, and through the midfield, the battle just starting to be won. But Hinson goes again and kicks the Magpies long into forward 50, but a couple of numbers back as Josh Terry gets his hands on the ball. He finds Marlon Marquez. They can just regroup. Approaching 18 minutes gone in this first quarter, and Jared Allen, the coach of the Bombers, would have to be pretty pleased with the way his Chargers have fought back under the pump for the first 10 minutes or so. They're just starting to get some chains of possession together. Hinson for the Magpies. His kick goes out on the full, so an opportunity here for the Magpies to regroup in defence. Can the Bombers set up? They were looking for the switch, but it's dangerous. Good strong mark taken there by Schultz. Told to play on now. The lime green wheels goes long inside 50. Doesn't get a handy bounce. No, it gets 2 bad bounces, and we'll get a boundary throw in. Deep in the forward pocket. And the Magpies kick their second goal. Just get this lead back. Umpire looks over this. They're going to get a shot on goal. Umpire said, you're gone. And the Magpies will get a chance to cut this lead back to 4 points. The Magpies fans like it. Tim Woods He slots a goal. The Magpies have 2. North Shore lead 3 goals straight 18 over Western Suburbs 2-2-14. 20 minutes gone in the first quarter. It's the Div 2 Grand Final. Back underway, and all of a sudden the pressure back on the Bombers. It's a little bit of a falcon there. Ryan Hinson might have just worn the shirt on the bonds there. And the Bombers can wheel out a halfback, and inside 50 they're about to go. Stopping and propping was Quayle. Little hand pass over the top, but a good lead. The mark can't be taken. But Jaravangi puts it down. Unfortunately, it was a tough mark on his knees, and with the surface the way it is today, you're not going to get much slide. Little tap down there by Quayle. Umpire says, I'll have it, thanks, as the natives get more and more restless. Magpie's got to be careful here, because any ill discipline and a free kick is a automatic scoring shot the way of North Shore. They just work it out the back. Nice hands there as Alexander has a kick inside 50. And that was a good fair bump. Solid stuff there by Josh Terry, and wearing it hard was Jim Newbury. He's going to give away a free kick. That's the ill-disciplined stuff I was talking about. The free kick goes the way of Croniti. He hits up a lead and finds Ben Parks, who turns. He's kicked just a little bit too hard for Marquez. And now the Magpies can get on the switch, but some good defensive running by North Shore just slows that down ever so much. 22 and a half minutes gone through the first quarter. 3 straight 18. North Shore, they lead by 4 points. 2-2-14, Western Suburbs. There are some booming kicks in this Magpie side. They're just going to tow it forward here. Can they get an opportunity to put a goal on? Nice work from Hinson, backing back through some traffic. Good punch away, but plenty of defensive pressure coming from the Magpies at the moment. Finds a man on the outside. Eto steps back inside. Got to get around a little bit of traffic. Misses. No, he's got it. Jordan Eto had a man in front that made things a lot harder. And in the shadows of quarter time, the Western Suburbs Magpies 3-2-20 now lead the Bombers 3 straight 18. Back underway. What a great quarter this has been. Harper comes out of the centre square. Can he hit a target? No, just a little bit wide, but boundary line being his friend. It does go over the boundary line. 24 and a half minutes gone through the first quarter. What a great quarter of Div 2 it has been. They're prohibitive favourites. North Shore, 3 goals straight 18. They trail Western Suburbs, who have had a quarter of a lifetime. 3 goals to 20. Goals to Newbury, Woods, and Jordan Edo for the Magpies. See them hold a 2-point lead going into quarter time. Back underway in the Div 2 Grand Final. And what a first 25 minutes we had. All the pressure has been on North Shore leading into this game. The prohibitive favourites, 17-1 in the regular season. In round 17, they put 155 points on the scoreboard against this same side who only scored 9. And we look at the quarter time scoreboard. It's 3-2-20 playing 3 goals straight 18 and the lead in the favour of the Magpies. So the Magpies repel another foray inside 50. Long kick down the line. Left to have been a fly on the wall for Jared Allen's address at quarter time. Quick kick forward. Mark just a little bit back of centre wing for the Bombers. Said Joshua David Wright, the leading goal scorer for the Bombers in this division with 27 goals, and we haven't seen him just yet. This will be the tricky part as they use that centre square. She's a little bit slippery, bit of water on it during the week as it was rock hard last week, and we'll probably just see it harden up during the day. But that's just where teams are going to have to be a little bit more careful using that centre corridor. So a good punch forward by the Magpies toward their half-back flank. Goes across the boundary line. So 2.5 minutes into this Div 2 Grand Final. You're watching the X-Blades AFL Sydney Grand Final Day. All 3 grades coming up this afternoon. Div 2, Div 1, and Premier Division. Pennant Hills taking on Sydney Uni. As I said, umpires today, Gavin Bertram, Jordan Glover and Brad Stewart with the Acme Thunders. Ben Russell, Matt Frange on the boundary, and Taylor Cook and Indiana Forrest are your goal umpires. Tomorrow, you'll see all the action live again. 3 games, Women's Div 1, Div 4 and Div 5. And inside 50 again. Go the Magpies. They're going to take this shot on goal and try and extend the lead out. 3-2-20 plays, 3 straight 18. Approaching 4 minutes done and dusted in this second term. It's just going to hold up at the top of the square, that shot on goal, and eventually punched out of bounds. So while the point wouldn't have been a bad result, at least the Magpies can set themselves up here for a little worked midfield move. Little kick over the top from Newbury, but it's the back 6 of North Shore who stand up once again. Now they get a little bit of run and carry off the half back. Varajandri. Oh, and the free's going to go the Bombers' way. That's unfortunate. Then Sips off the left. Into the pocket. Good mark. First, second attempt. Brad Plug. He's already kicked 2. So Plug to regain the lead for North Shore and kick his 3rd goal. Oh, kicks truly. That's a beautiful goal. He's kicked 3. The Bombers have 4. They now lead by 4, 5.5 minutes through the second term. Div 1 coming up, Sydney Universe, St George Dragons. So a big day for the students. Play it down here for the Magpies, and looks like he's in a bit of trouble right on the top of the square. Holding his face, he's down on his haunches as they get some training staff to him at the moment. So North Shore, their kick out wide in the directions of Charlie Parsons. He just hold up, he's kicking absolute scrubber. It's the Magpies who can try and find some run from half back. That hand pass straight towards the boundary line. Umpire says you can throw it in, thanks. Ooh, good hard contest at it. Mark can't be taken by the Magpies, and it's just going to be the Bombers who can roll out from centre wing. Even numbers at the contest. Good work from Brad Plug trying to put on the pressure, but a smart little kick over the top to Jackson Hand, who just goes long to centre wing. To this broadcast side of Blacktown International Sports Park. This is where all the family are. Oh, beautiful little swing. Hamish Sherwood puts on a little party trick on grand final day. He's going to enjoy the replay of that. Ball back into play. That's the Magpies, who just go inside 50 once again. They trail by 4. Can the Magpies be next to score? Can they start continuing to force the issue, force the pressure, and they force a stoppage there through Michael Tuttle, the co-vice captain. Ball back into play, right on the interchange gates. Another turnover. Can the Magpies hit a target up forward? They can. Nice work from Elliot Harper.
He finds Urell, who just drives the Bombers long to the top of the square. Couple of numbers here if the ball bounces right. That was Eto's. Enveloped in Bombers immediately. And the umpire says, I'll have it. So approaching 10 minutes in quarter two. It's the Div 2 grand final. Quarter time score, it was the Magpies leading by 2 points. We've only had the one goal to the Bombers. Ball spills out the back. Umpires happy to let things roll. So Magpies player here looking like he wants the shot on goal. It's pretty sure this is Jordan Eto who's already scored a beautiful goal in that first quarter. He's going to have this from a tight angle and from well outside, not well outside 50, but right on the paint of 50. That was Eto, but he's kicked out on the full, so just wonder if he could have found maybe a better option or try to set it up to the top of the square, although this one's coming straight back. Magpies fans want 50. Little short one inside is well marked. Justin O'Neill marking that one strongly. He had a Bombers backman all over him. He's got a chance to score the first goal of this quarter for the Magpies. O'Neill comes in, strikes it from 45. And that breeze that has just picked up in the last 10 minutes or so, really holding up that ball. So the Magpies are going to have to kick to that end in the fourth quarter, which you wonder, does that make the third term for the Magpies vitally important? They have to put points on the board when kicking with the breeze. The ball sits so poorly there for the Magpies. Joshua David Wright gets hands to it. And they just work it through Hansen here. He looks up and gets his hands to Pryor, to David Wright, Joshua David Wright, who just squares it up 90 degrees. They maintain possession, although she's coming back here for the Magpies. Inside 50. Can they take the mark? That was Specchia. Picks it up on the back of the pack. He was under pressure straight away, and the non-officiating umpires come from a mile back and found a free kick. So does the point stand? Let's just see what the goal umpires are going to do. So the goal umpires are calling the point off. And it's going to be a Magpie goal. Clint McGrath from directly in front puts that in a snake gully. The Magpies get back the lead. That free kick paid late and from the umpire well back of the play. Four 2-26, Western Suburbs, they lead North Shore 4 straight 24. 2-point margin, 14 minutes through. They've had to bring a new pill out. So that one is well into Snake Gully thanks to Clint McGrath. Did you see what the centre's done to the midfields here? That ball really just sticking and plugging. Nice work there. They managed to get the pill to Lockie Pryor. Edge of the centre square. Nice punch there from the Magpies. Can they win possession at Cinnawing? Right on the AFL Sydney logo. You'll see this Pennant Hills and Sydney Uni game in a couple of hours' time. First bounce at 3 p.m. That was a good bump off the ball. Markers are in trouble. They just get the kick off, but it's turned over, unfortunately, through the hands of Hinson. Bombers go inside 50. That man again, Brad Plug. He's been very, very dangerous up front. He's already got 3 this morning. And this seesawing battle continues as he has a chance to get back the lead. Plug. Directly in front, you can see that breeze blowing a little bit. Keeps it low, stabs it, and misses the lot. Oh, Plug tries the ride. Used his hands to gain the step ladder. That'll be a free kick the way of the Magpies. No, not spotted. And gone! Oh, well. There's a fortuitous turn of events for the Bombers. Umpire said that there was no high tackle there, and Matt Varjaravangi will have a chance, as Brad Plug did just 90 seconds ago, but you can really see those posts moving now as the breeze gets up. It's been windy in Sydney the last couple of days. And Varjaravangi does not miss. That's a really good shot on goal. A good result for the Bombers. They've kicked 5 straight 30. It's Western Suburbs 4-2-26. Back underway, 17.5 minutes gone. O'Neill, long inside forward 50 for the Magpies. It's been a seesawing goal-for-goal clash so far, and the little dribbler, maybe not the play. Injured Bomber, back play. I think it's Tim Weston. He's just hobbling. Tells the trainer that he's all right. Bombers half work themselves into a bit of trouble, but some slick use of the handball sees them get out of trouble. There's Weston, just hobbling. Minute or so ago, all of a sudden the ankle feels a lot better. His hit-up kick to Lockie Pryor. Pryor goes back on the 45. Finds Kirk Lower. This is where the Bombers have been dangerous, when they can set up. Booming, long kick inside 50. In the direction of Plug. Will he win the foot race to this? He's got a Magpie to beat, and that Magpie does well. He get his hands out in the front of McGowan. Did he get a hand pass to it? Weston shot on goal. Sprays well right. They can push a switch here, the Magpies. Out in front of Hand, who would have had a bounce. His kick was dangerous, but Hinson did well to be there at the bottom of the pack. Or is that Tuttle? in dispute once again. Just pushing it more and more for the Magpies. Can they wrestle back this 4-point margin? This 4-point deficit, 5 straight to North Shore, 4-2-26. Magpies can just force some defensive pressure. Their tackling pressure has been superb. And they're going to go into attack once again, the Magpies. Little chip kick over the top. Finds Schultz. He just holds it up. His little kick further afield finds McGrath. And he just sneaks one over the top nicely. Finds Harper. And Harper's willing to turn his back to goals and say, I'll have a shot, boys. Tight angle and probably kicks it from... Probably will have to let it launch from outside the paint of 50. So Elliot Harper here. 24-year-old. It's a bit on it. Does look like it's short to the top of the square. Big punch comes from the Magpies, but it's the Bombers who can just evade it at the moment. Polly, as well as Ronan Cott, all there to see it go over the line. Bombers do well to get this one. And it's Canan who's going to send it back with a bit of interest. He wants to direct a little bit of traffic toward the hot spot. Good punch from the Bombers, although this defensive tackling pressure from the Magpies has been superb in this first quarter and a half. Or even longer as we're 22 minutes through the second term. There's a North Shore player down in the middle of 50, but it's not going to come back to hurt him. Half-time siren sounds. What a great game of Div 2 footy we've had so far. And at half-time, a 4-point lead the way of the Bombers. North Shore 5 straight 30. They lead Western Suburbs 4-2-26. Take a short break at half-time. We'll come back with all the action. It's the Div 2 Grand Final. Thanks to X-Blades and AFL Sydney. What a big second half of footy we got coming up in the Div 2 Grand Final. North Shore by 4 points. An early free paid. So Magpies just shuffling the ball out here. This is Stevens and his kick wide left. So 2 goals to North Shore, just the one. So the Magpies in that second quarter, and real innocuous injury there to Clinton McGrath with half a little push and grabs at the elbow. So can the Bombers get out of their own back half here? That was Parks. He hits up a kick to Marquez. Just hits it on the 45 to lower. They go back into their, well, deep into their defensive 50. They're just chipping it around at the moment. They haven't been able to find a target to hit. There's lower again, and they just hold on to possession, although they work themselves into a bit of trouble here, the Bombers. So the outlet kick was there, and it's to Harry. Harry has one bounce. Around half back, although his kick wasn't a great one. Plenty of height on it. And now they can get some run and some carry. Once again, Harry links up in that, but his kick in front of Plug was not great. They get back through Harper here, the Magpies. Good punch. Nice work there from David Wright. Josh David Wright has been their leading goal scorer, but has played predominantly in the midfield today, where we see him go for a little foray up front. And can he be dangerous to the scoreboard? Wicket bounce there from the Magpies. Oh, free kick the way the Bombers. Umpire thought about that for a long time. Here's another one of those 50-50s. Although kick wasn't a Marquez. Little hand pass. This is Croniti with a flying shot. Just sneaks it in for a behind. They play on quickly here, the Magpies. Can they be next to strike? 5-2-32 plays 4-2-26. So now a straight kick in it. That's got to be gone. Umpire's right in front of that. He likes to say play on the Bombers. To Croniti. He's going to wheel around from 52. Setting it up to the hot spot in the way of Plug, but it was just a club length too short for Plug, who was caught behind. This kick dangerous. Lovely work there, finding Simon Stevens. Quick rush kick, and Stevens was in the right place at the right time. This guy's got a booming kick on him. That's Schultz. And that is an absolute belter. Can they get the kick inside 50 to hit its target now? They can. Matthew McGowan gets on the end of that. That was really nice stuff, and it all started at centre half back and Schultz. They continued to work it up front. And now Matt McGowan has a chance to tie this one back up. It's high, it's high, it's high. Does it have enough on it? It does! Big Matty McGowan has had some time in the waffle. Matty McGowan, 25-year-old. He slots a goal. We're not all tied up. We had a errant behind on there. So it's Western Suburbs 5-2-32 now leading North Shore 5-1-31. Into attack again, the Magpies. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Unfortunately, he's been good today. Spec up. So that's unfortunate. It's Marquez. His kick was a good one. The mark from Ziggy Miggendorf. Haven't called much of his name, which I'd like to do because it's a belter of a name. And now the Magpies in trouble. There's a good bump off the ball. Geordie Gregory. Can the Magpies put some points on the board as we have a player the old stinger, it looks like. He's being run off the field very quickly. Inside 50, the Magpies go again. Spec you there, but goes across the boundary line. What an intriguing Div 2 game this has been. 5-2-32 the Magpies. They lead North Shore 5-1-31. 6:45 through the third term. The Bombers can't link up possessions as they'd like, so we have a turnover at centre wing. Schultz there. One should go across the boundary line. The Magpies here with a bit of run and carry. They link up. It's now going to sit right in that centre square. Eto, he caught one across the nose and he'll take the free kick. Long kick to the paint of 50. Mark couldn't be taken. O'Neill got his hands to it. Little scrub kick forward. Now the hurry kick. Pressure here. 2-on-1 for the Magpies. Can they work it? Little hand pass to the side to Hinson, and Hinson hits a target inside 50. And it's James Newbury. So Newbury with a chance to extend the lead to 7. Some nice lead-up play. Clint McGrath putting his head over it. And now Newbury, the recipient. Slide angle. Will hit it from a bit over 40. Starts left and that wind takes it, takes it, and takes it. It's becoming starting to have an impact on the game, the breeze. So from the subsequent free kick, long kick outside of 50 to half back of North Shore, and they see it go across the boundary. 3/4 time, probably about 15 minutes away, and Eamon Doherty and Jared Allen for the Bombers. Eamon for Magpies. One last address to their charges. Trouble and gone, the Bombers. The tackling pressure from these Magpies has been immense this morning. They've won their free kicks. Well deserved as well, with some great tackling pressure, especially in their forward 50 area. It's made it hard for the Bombers to come out on several occasions. Ball at centre wing here for the Magpies, but the Bombers can get a little bit of run and a little bit of carry. They have the overlap. Can they find a target inside 50? One bounce, running to the top of the square in the Plug direction. He beats off one. Was he held without it? He'll go again and drive at the tackle and dive again. That's a good double effort there from Plug. They hold it up in their forward pocket. 1 point margin, 11 minutes, nearly 11 minutes gone in this third term. That ball not going anywhere. By a restart play, probably about 25 out, directly in front of the sticks here for North Shore. Can they work a little move with their mids at this stoppage? They can. Pops out the back. That's Quayle. He gets his hand pass over the top, but it doesn't hit a target. And the Magpies, although short-lived, could relieve some pressure. But now with that turnover, it's coming in again. Mark can't be taken. Sliding hands and knees was David Wright. Now they're just going to wheel out of this. The Magpies, they have the breeze at their backs. They need a score. The wind starting to play a part. Nice work from the Magpies as they see that one. 12 minutes gone the third term, and it's the Western Suburbs Magpies, 5-2-32. They lead the favourites, North Shore, 5-1-31. Murray Canellan in commentary this afternoon or this morning for this Div 2 clash. And we'll be here all afternoon long. Div 1 coming up next. Then we'll have the Prems, Pennant Hills, taking on the students from Sydney University. Who will be next to score? That is the big question going through the minds of Eamon Doherty, the Magpies coach. What a finals campaign it's been. There at Picken Oval, the Magpies defeated Pennant Hills, Penrith, and then the one-loss Uni New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs. What a big month it's been, and at the moment they're putting their best foot forward. Here's a free. No, umpire says I'll have it. Geez, there's been some good scraps at ground level this morning. Throw picked up, so free to the Bombers. 14 minutes gone in the third term. Western Suburbs lead by 1. They led by 2 at quarter time and trailed by 4 at half time. A strong physical side the Magpies have been this morning. It's been a very interesting clash to watch as Marcus and that's Pryor, change down in front of us at the interchange gates. Ball across the boundary line at centre wing. You can see the trees in the background there just starting to pick up on the outer side. It's at a real intriguing stage of this game. That'll be 50. It's got to be 50. It didn't go back to him on the full. An interesting one there from the umpires. So told to play on the Magpies. They can just hold it up, although they're going to run themselves into a bit of trouble here. They do have half an overlap, which they can use out the back. They have numbers if it stays in the field of play, which it doesn't. So 15:45 on the clock in the third term, and it's Western Suburbs 5-2-32. They lead North Shore 5-1-31. North Shore finishing the 18-game season 17-1. What an amazing year it's been. But with all that pressure, has it just built up more and more and more, and all of a sudden Western Suburbs Magpies 11-7 in the regular season. coming off a finals journey that says you've beaten 5th place Pennant Hills, 3rd place Penrith, and the 2nd place UNSW Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs. You're coming to this game full of confidence, even though round 17 you were beaten by 146 points. And in round 9 you were defeated by 67. Here the Bombers come and Plug. Just beautiful service. He gets it lace out there. This is Brad Plug. He's already kicked 3. 3 in the first half and a goal here. Although it's been a fairly dead pocket, this area. Both sides have had a couple of shots from this area. They've sat up with this breeze. He hits it low. He hits it nicely. He's got 4. And the Bombers get the lead back. Foot them off at every turn, the Magpies, and they now have an opportunity to put one back on the board. This game has been back and forth and back and forth. It's a 5-point lead to North Shore. Andy Urell. Let's just push that one for a solitary behind. 6-1-37, plays 5-4-30, 5-2-32. Make that 5-3-33 as we just play a little catch up, and suburban footy at its best when players got to jump the fence and fetch the Sherrin. Good kick outside of 50. And can the Bombers get a little bit of run here? They can. They're at centre wing, and now they look up. It's a Plug at half forward, but the kick, no good, and out of bounds on the full. 4-point lead away the Bombers. Tick over 20 minutes gone in the third term. Div 2 grand final, it's the Bombers taking on the Magpies. And the fingernails would be well and truly nibbled down there on the Bombers' boundary line. They wouldn't have been in many situations like this with just a 4-point lead midway through the third term. Kick just didn't have enough on it. Waters gets the turnover, looks up inside the centre square, but can't find a target. Lambert putting the pressure on. Now it's in Barajanji's hands, and he just gets a little kick over the top. And Pryor can't take the mark. Terrific defence from the Magpies with the running bounce. And the kick to centre wing, but it's going to come back. Three-quarter time siren goes. 4-point margin. North Shore 6-1-37. Lead Western Suburbs 5-3-33. 4-point ball game with everything to play. The fourth quarter coming up. Back underway, and what a 25 minutes we've got coming up. 4-point margin. Away at North Shore, 6-1-37. Leads 5-3-33, and they go inside 50 with a mark. Who's going to be paid this to? The Bombers. Every mistake crucial at this stage of the game, and it's the Bombers go through the centre square. Raja Vanji at the back. 2-on-1, what way will the ball bounce? Just watching it go across the line. Josh David Wright there for the Bombers. So this boundary throwing, just 5 metres around from the point post. What does it do to the psyche of the Magpies if they're be first to scored upon? Ball up in a dangerous position for the Magpies defenders here, and they do well just to kill the contest, and the umpire says, I'll have it, thanks. 90 seconds through the fourth and final quarter. 6-1-37 plays 5-3-33. And while there's plenty of pressure on the players out there, the umpire's also feeling it. Gavin Bertram, Jordan Glover, Brad Stewart, the umps for this clash. Turnover, so the Bombers with a chance to go inside. Forward 50 once again, and a good punch. This back six for the Magpies have been very strong this afternoon. Ball tumbles across the boundary line. Doherty, Eamon Doherty, the coach for the Magpies. Jared Allen for the Bombers, who've given their final address to the Chargers, and it's all up to the 22 on both sides now to get the job done. Oh, there's a big hit. That'll be a free, and any extra? No, just the free. That centre square area probably getting harder and harder as the morning progresses. Once again, the Magpies. The kick, not a great one, but can they find a target coming out? They've got a couple of numbers here. Gregory. He's just going to go long down the line. Canaan over the top of him. Little number over the top, and the kick. No good there from McGrath. Now they get 50. Reddy's free kick back for the out on the full has had a man on the mark. Infringement, unfortunately, for the Magpies. Now Reddy will have a chance to... He wants Plug. Plug was on the lead out on his own, but he's gone further infield. You can just see the way the wind has picked it up on the bounce there. 4 minutes gone. Quarter four. 4-point margin. North Shore 6-1-37. No scores yet from after this three-quarter time break. Does a goal the way of the Bombers break the back of the Magpies, or can they be first to score and really put the pressure on the long odds-on favourites? A couple of bus loads from Pick and Oval have travelled out here to Blacktown. But once again, a turnover. Plug the target. And while Plug didn't get it, it's just as good a result for the Magpies. Angus Quayle. Long way out with this breeze. Angle won't trouble him, but it's the shovel kick from 52, and he's kicked it straight into the man on the mark. He's going to get another opportunity, Quayle, from 48 this time, but he's tugged it to the left-hand side. Out on the full, so a free kick to the Magpies. Oh no, they're saying there was a hand on it, so it'll be a boundary throw-in. Just 5 around from the point post on the far side here at Blacktown International Sports Park. Real arm wrestle. This game's been all morning, especially when you look at the fact that in round 17, the Bombers 24-11, 155. They put on this Magpies side. So a defensive, huge improvement by the back six of the Magpies. They've kept Joshua David Wright, who kicked 27 goals this season. He hasn't troubled the scorers yet. But how much pressure can this Magpies back six hold? They've probably had 80% territory, the Bombers. This back six for the Magpies just keeps repelling and repelling. Plug was front and centre for the mark, but a nice punch there from Polly. Got his hands on it and just goes long to Schultz. But at half back, they just turn it over, but the Magpies with a bit of run and a little bit of kick off the ground. Can they find somebody else to link up with? Schultz can kick it a long way. He has 2 bounces. 55 out, just chips it over the top. Can they break a tackle? That'll be a free. Great defence from the Bombers. Ziggy Migendorf. He's just going to square up the kick. Oh, geez, just has enough on it. Johnson takes the mark on the last line of defence. They're playing with fire, the Bombers. Long kick to centre wing. Little bit of friendly fire, Nilly. And Pryor comes running onto it. Ready there as well. He's in trouble. He's picked it up. How do you get rid of it? The umpire says, mine! Much to the encouragement of the Wests fans. Everyone knows it's getting tense now. 7.5 minutes gone in quarter 4 with the 4-point margin. The odds-on favourites, the Bombers, only lead this one by 4 points. Pryor in a heavy tackle. He's slammed to the ground. Eto puts his head over it and tries to break through a couple of tackles. The umpire says, I'll have it once again. Ball hasn't moved far in these last 3 ball ups. Free kick against Woods. He picked it up. Just had a little bit of Pryor. Oi. Jeez, that's rough. There was a bit of milking from both going on there. And found a 50-metre free the wave, the Bombers. And even that 50's been... It's a generous 35 at best. But the decisions have been made, and it's the hands of Parks. Benny Parks from directly in front. Doesn't miss. Goal umpire leans back. North Shore have 7 goals. Their lead out to 10. 9.5 minutes through the fourth quarter. Ten-point margin, one of the biggest of the mornings. And can North Shore really put the pedal down now? That defensive pressure still so high from the Magpies, and a free gets found at the bottom of a pack. 7-1-43, plays 5-3-33. And North Shore stream into attack. Josh David Wright just paddles it in front of himself, keeps it in control. Kick in front of Vajavandi. Another stoppage, 11 minutes gone in this fourth term. Ball back into play, right up against that boundary line. Umpire says, I'll have it. Restart play, 11.5 gone in the fourth term, and it's a 10-point margin to the Bombers. 7-1-43, plays 5-3-33. And the 17-1 at North Shore Bombers just sticking their necks out where it matters. Umpire looking and looking and looking, and you say, I'll have it, thanks. When looking at best on field, you've got to think 4 goals for Brad Plug would be hard to beat. He's got half of his side's tally, more than half. And that one wasn't going very far very quickly, and once again the umpire says, give it to me. What answers do the Magpies have in these final 10 minutes? Long kick to centre wing. Oh, mark can't be taken. Would have been an absolute beauty. But it's at centre wing. Was it dragged in? Yes, the umpire says it was. Free kicks. I reckon that's probably 3-zip in the last 5 minutes. And the Bombers just working some free kicks in this final term. So go inside 50 once again, but boundary umpire says it was out of bounds. So boundary thrown, boundary on the arc of 50. We get to 13 minutes and there's some tired boys out there. Can the Magpies find one last gear, or will North Shore just kick clear in these final moments? Now 13 minutes gone in the fourth term. So you'd think there'd be 8 or 9 minutes, just the one goal since three-quarter time, so it won't be a very long quarter. And the Magpies get a little bit of run as they go past centre wing and inside 50, but no one back home for the Magpies. And the Bombers can just square it up, although this is dangerous. Can he break a tackle? Was he caught high? The Magpies think one way, the Bombers think another. And at the bottom of the pack it is. Did Pryor drag it in? No, the umpire says no. Inside attacking 50 for the Magpies. Can they get themselves a major on the scoreboard and just tighten the screws on the Bombers? Batting it forward gets them a boundary throw-in just adjacent the point post. Who can they work a tap down to here for the Magpies? Little one round the back. Snap kick on goal. Ryan Hinson. That was a lovely work stoppage for the Magpies. Tap round the corner. Hinson snaps truly. The margin back to 4 points. Fifteen and a half minutes gone in the fourth quarter. 4-point margin to the Bombers. The Magpies so brave this afternoon or this morning. Can they find one more goal? Plug. Great use of the body. 4 goals already. Can he make it 5? Plug for 5. Pushes it. So still a straight kick in it. Long kick for the Magpies. Outside defensive 50. Going to come back in through the Bombers though. Long in the direction of Plug again. And Joshua David Wright was there. So I have the score as 7-2-44. Scoreboard just yet to pick up that last behind. So I've got it as a 5-point margin. On the main scoreboard it's still listed as 4. So just pay attention. Hopefully that gets updated shortly. We don't want any confusion. Umpire's found a free, and he's found it in the way of the Bombers. Angus Quayle wins himself a free kick. Quayle with a chance to push this one out to 11 points. And he does. He kicks true. So back underway. North Shore Ruckman picks himself up from the bottom of the pile. So main scoreboard has a 10-point margin. I'm fairly confident I've got a 12-point margin as they now update. So yeah, 8-2-50 to 6-3-39. Little hand pass over the top. What can Marquez do? He just watches it go across the boundary line. Things starting to get heated. Oh, there was a punch there. And that's easy as. Jared Polly, when you're in it up to your elbows, there's just no need to be swinging like that. Little kick inside. Who can take the mark? It's the Magpies. They can come out of half back and find Newbury. His little kick over the top to McGrath is good. 19 and a half minutes to go. The kick to Polly, who's got to play on quick. And then slam from behind was McGrath. What a great tackle that was. From Marquez. And now Plug. Plug wheels around the right from 52. He's got a no, he doesn't, but the mark's taken and then rushed through. Nearly could have been paid. Two straight kicks in it. 8-3-51, the Magpies. From Picken Oval in Croydon Park, 6-3-39. 2 goals gets us to extra time, and there's a hit over the boundary line. Oh, and there's another hit, and that'll be easy to be paid downfield. Things just might start lighting up in these final couple of minutes as the frustration of a tight grand final spills over. Pryor with the ball. He's 52 out. He doesn't like his distance. He has a little lead onto the pocket, but just holds it off. But Pryor then finds Plug. And they can just soak up the clock. Plug for 5 goals in a grand final. Tight angle, 45 out. Not going to come back far enough, and is a little bit short. Is it touched over the line? It is. "22 minutes gone in the 4th term, and it's a 2-goal margin to the Bombers. 4 goals to Brad Plug. Has been a supreme effort. And here's a little bit of a cherry on the top. No, it's pushed and just sneaks in for a behind. Does make it, though. 3 kicks. And with only a few minutes to go, that behind there by Tom Cronidi could make it enough, but it's coming back. It's coming back. Unfortunately, the kick out after the behind, player at his foot over the line. There's a bit going on again. There's a free kick found. Couple of spot fires starting to get going here. Oh, there's one going in from a couple of rows back. Not what you want to see on grand final day. They've pushed and pushed and pushed the favourites so hard here, the Magpies, and it's just starting to unravel, unfortunately. So I think they've found a 50 in there as well. So the North Shore fans are in full voice. Plug's got himself 5, and the Bombers will win Div 2. Back underway in the dying stages of the Div 2 Grand Final, and North Shore have been too good. 9-4-58 leads Western Suburbs 6-3-39. 5 goals to Brad Plug in a grand final. Won't he be the life of the party tonight? He might find himself with 2 medals, one for a best on ground and a premiership medal to boot. Bit of run and a bit of carry here from the Magpies. Shot on goal. As always, to the left-hand side. Big Dave Grand Finals continues with the Div 1 Grand Final up next. St George Dragons, coached by Gavin Raper and Sydney Uni, with Daniel Miller at the helm. And then at 3 o'clock, you'll see the Pennant Hills Demons taking on Sydney Uni. There it is! The Division 2 Grand Final is all over. What a game it was. The Western Suburbs Magpies, their huge final month comes to an end, but how brave they were for the Bombers. 17-1 in the regular season, just too classy today. Brad Plug with 5 goals in a winning grand final. It's North Shore 9-4-58. They've defeated Western Suburbs 6-4-40 in a really good Div 2 grand final.
Welcome everybody to the 2017 Expos AFL Sydney Division 2 Grand Final. My name's Simon Munter, Operations Manager for AFL Sydney. I'd like to congratulate both teams on a great grand final and excellent 2017 season. To Western Suburbs, well done today. You were fantastic at number 9 last year to make this in grand final. Well done to us. All your teams in the grand finals this year, so you've had a great year, so well done on your win today. Congratulations. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the umpires today. Congratulations on being selected to officiate today's game, and thank you for your involvement in AFL Sydney this year. To begin the presentation, I will announce the player vote best on ground. Congratulations to number 22 from North Shore.
Congratulations to North Shore first up. Best team all year and 2 wins today, so well done guys. I'm good with him. To my guys, Indy crowd, awesome effort, ran the car all the way and just not quite yesterday. Keep your heads up, beautiful for next year. Be there again. As Eamon, Yanni, the committee and the club to make this possible, can't thank you enough. To the supporters who came along, it's unreal to everyone there, thank you very much. And great. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
I would now like to invite to the stage the captain of North Shore, Anthony Johnson, to say
First of all, thanks very much to us. It's a great contest today. We weren't going to expect anything less. And we're in your position last year, John Wright, and we're here now. Same thing with Ken and you, of course. You want us to build a great platform that you can go on and see what happens next year. So well done to you guys for today. Thanks to the umpires as well for their game. And thanks to all the supporters who've come out. It's amazing here, boys from the hill. It's amazing knowing that the guys on the live stream, watching from all over the world, get around the bars. Thanks to Johnny Good and the whole committee. Thanks to our sponsors, Morgan Shore Special Brand, Prime Constructions, the Union. Thanks to all the volunteers, all the trainers. Thanks to huge thanks to T-Bag, legendary team manager. Thanks to TK, legendary what you've done with the twos. Thanks to all the coaching staff that have supported him. To all the guys, all the players in the club, thanks for getting around us. Thanks for a great year. Thanks for getting around the rodeo. And to all the boys who missed out or injury or whatever reason, you're just as much a part of this win as the rest of us. So thanks for that. To the boys who are on the field today, sensational effort. Couldn't ask any more. And I think the radio's got another 3 days to go. Let's go. Thanks very much.
Just go